Matthew Ramsey of Old Dominion. The biggest decision I have to make today is how am I going to refer to you? Is it going to be Matt? Is it going to be Matthew?
Whichever one. Call me Matthew. That's what my grandparents called me. So there you go.
Matthew, it is. Thanks for doing this today.
Sure thing, man. Happy to be
And
here.
congrats on the release of. I was on a boat that day, and I've been in this business a long time, and the rate at which radio has grasped this song
Yeah.
I've never seen before either side of the border. So when you and the band put this song out, did you have any idea? Did you know you were really onto something?
I mean, we knew we had a fun song, but you can't ever tell that the reaction is going to be as big as it was. We just knew we loved it, and that's all we can go on ultimately. If we start to overthink things and think they're going to love it, they're going to react this way, it never works out well. But if we internally love it and it makes us happy, that usually works out. But no, we had no idea that the reaction was going to be this fast and this big.
It's so neat. And I'm not just saying this because it sounds great and fun on an interview, but Old Dominion's one of my favorite acts in the game.
Oh, thank you.
And so this morning I'm thinking, why is it that heater after heater after heater comes from Old Dominion? My theory is, and you tell me if I'm crazy, Old Dominion's comprised of a bunch of writers. So rather maybe than having one member of the band who's got a propensity for writing, you're a collection of great songwriters.
That's a huge part of I think our success and the fact that we write and collaborate well together. And there's so many, even Brad's an amazing guitar player aside from being an amazing writer. So just the way he approaches playing guitar is as a songwriter. So he could hold his own just playing guitar in whatever you know shape or form he wanted to, but he approaches it as a songwriter, and with the same thing approaches the drums. He's trying to serve the song, and we all care so much about the songwriting process. I think that's probably what is a big part of the recipe of our success for sure.
So when you have a group of minds that are in that space,
Yeah.
does somebody win the tug of war in a case of how do you all end up landing on the same page?
I mean, ultimately, everyone wants the end result to be as best as it possibly can be. But usually in those situations, there's a clear driver. There's usually someone who has the germ of the idea, and everyone goes, okay, I trust him. I know that he believes in this, and I trust him and respect him as a creator. Let's follow him and see where and support it. And so usually that's what happens. It could be one day it could be you, one day it could be me. So you just kind of recognize the spot there and roll with it.
If people take nothing else out of this interview, here are the messages. Brush your teeth twice a day. Go see Old Dominion live in concert. And here's why.
Yeah.
Actually, the Old Dominion, We Are Old Dominion tour was the last show I saw before society and our universe went sideways with the pandemic.
Yeah.
And it was the 25th of February of 2020 in Peterborough, Ontario. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it might have been the last date on that tour.
I think so. I think that was the last show we played before
it was
shut down. Yeah.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, you guys were about to head overseas on another leg of the tour or something, and that all went sideways.
Yeah, we were supposed to go over there and play the C2C festival,
right?
And we backed out of it, and we caught a lot of flack, because you could see it happening over there. The pandemic was actually happening, and cases were spreading pretty wildly, and we felt like if we went, we may get stuck or something. We just did, and we didn't want to, put our crew at risk. It's different for if we go over there, we reap a lot of benefits for going over there and taking that risk. But, there's people that work for us that it's their job and they don't get those extra benefits. So we just felt like maybe we were putting them at some unnecessary risk and just decided to back out. And we're glad.
Looking back, you must feel you were right.
Definitely. There was a moment where everyone was rushing back and we were like, we made the right decision.
Decisions to make and to know you were right.
Yes.
But here's why I bring up the live show. And it's so nice to see that you guys have some dates on the books south of the border. When the borders open up, it'll be great to have you here. But that night in Peterborough, and this is why I want everybody who hasn't to see Old Dominion live when we can. You guys, as songwriters, really strip a part of the show back. And oh my gosh, it was mind blowing and an experience I'll never forget, because before you came together as Old Dominion, you guys are responsible for a lot of the songs people know and love from other artists.
Yeah, yeah, and that's been a lot of the feedback we get is people love that part of the show when we kind of sit down, and because songwriting is such a part of our story and why we are where we are, we felt like we needed to, highlight that a little bit and just show people how we sort of backed into this whole thing through songwriting and writing songs for other people. So it's been really an amazing, journey through that to get to where we are. So it's cool to strip it down and learn people how we got here,
Well, you guys also that night, and my daughter was with me, and we had a chance to say hi before the show. And that date was one day after she turned 16, and you guys couldn't have fawned over her in a more grandiose way. And she turned shades of red that I didn't think were possible in the human face.
That's hilarious. Well,
Matthew Ramsey of Old Dominion's here. And the song I was on about that day, as I said, is being consumed at rates we rarely see in radio. Congrats on that. And I'd mentioned that you got some dates coming up on the U.S. side of the border. How does it feel to look at your calendar and actually see live dates?
It's wild, man. It's so cool, especially it changes week after week, and it started with a few shows and then it got more and more and more. And suddenly we find ourselves with sort of a normal year. And it's really amazing to see. And we're so proud of our whole team for putting that together. So it's also a little stressful to be like, whew, I don't know if I remember how to do that. I got to go back to sleeping on a bus. I got to figure out how to do that.
Well, listen, there's a big white elephant in the room, and I'm going to lean in a little here and just make you promise me no more changing light bulbs, okay?
Yeah, I know, right? It sound so ridiculous to the idea of hiring someone to change your light bulbs for you, but they were obviously pretty high light bulbs, but that thought never crossed my mind to hire somebody to do something like that. But now seeing what could happen, yeah, I think I'll be hiring people.
Let me change the light bulb. The world can live without me, but the world can't live without Matthew Ramsey of Old Dominion.
I'll tell you what struck me the most, aside from the collapsed lung and the broken rib and all that, but the ripple effect of, because we do have shows on the books now, and our crew members and who haven't been working for a year and a half, and people who haven't been able to go to shows for a year and a half. I just started to hear all the ripple effect of people that were concerned about their livelihood and things because I decided that I didn't like the shade of white that the light bulb was, and I just wanted to change it to a softer shade of white. I think I'll hire somebody.
Yeah, or live with the one that was there.
Right, exactly.
Like I said, I don't want to live in a world that doesn't include Matthew Ramsey of Old Dominion, so no more light bulbs, all right?
Yeah, I promise.
Listen, I appreciate your time, and it's on this side of the business. We get a lot of music, but we're not unlike anybody else. We're fans of some things more than we are other, and I love Old Dominion.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that, man.
And this is a real treat. And the fact that I was on a boat that day is killing it, is of a shock to very few people because, you guys have something real special. And this is a treat for me to talk to you today.
Right on, man. Thank you. It's great to talk to you too.
Where can we find you on socials?
All over, man. I can't even remember the names of our accounts, but we have, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all that stuff. So we're all over it. Just
good stuff. One last question. If you and I were to get together again, either in person or Zoom on the 4th of June, 2022, what do you hope the next 12 months looks like?
2022. I hope everyone knows the words to "I Was on a Boat That Day." I hope we're talking about a show up near you at some point. I hope that tickets are flying off the shelves for shows in Canada for sure, man. I can't wait to get back into a normal world.
Sorry, one more curiosity.
Yeah.
And I love hitting songwriters. What's the best Old Dominion song I don't know?
Ooh, man, that's tough. That's a tough one to say. There's a lot of good new ones that are going to be coming out very soon that we made a whole album. So there's a lot of really good ones, and of course we're a group of five people, and we all have different opinions on which one's the best. I think there's one that I really love called No Hard Feelings, which is one of my favorites. There's one that I know we all love called The Lonely Side of Town, which is really exciting for us. So I can't wait for you to hear all the new stuff, man.
When's the album coming?
It's done. So we just got to have meetings to figure out how and when we want to release it.
Well, I am turning into a time burglar, so I'm going to let you go. I know you got a busy day. Congrats again on the release of I Was on a Boat That Day. Matthew Ramsey, I can chew your ear off all day long. As I said, I'm a huge fan, and we want people to grab the song and the tickets when they can.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Stay well, and thanks for this.
All right, you too.